I've always just
Okay,
been
both
Jessica
of
with
it.
the curly
Okay,
hair.
ready?
That's
Go.
like how people define
Whenever I
it.
tell people, it's like, oh no, but your hair is you. Like,
4, 3, 2, 1.
I had a little bit of a mess going on in the back. But anyways, what's up? Yeah, what's up, guys? I need to come up with like a different saying because I don't like that. What's up, guys? Well, you're watching my video. Guys, look at my cute little wall. Lately, I've just been like feeling, I don't know what I've been feeling, but I literally just feel like painting on my wall, and it actually looks pretty good, I would say. But anyways, today I'm gonna be talking about something really important to me and something super vulnerable, I guess, because this decision that I made a year ago totally like changed my life. So just a little bit of a backstory. I think I barely touched on this with my tattoo video, but a little bit of a backstory. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, which is an island in the Caribbean by like Cuba and Jamaica, and I lived there my whole life. I was born and raised there, and I moved to the United States when I was 11 years old because my mom and my dad got divorced, and my mom remarried her high school sweetheart, I guess. Yeah, they like dated in high school, and they like rekindled, and after high school he had moved to Vegas. So when him and my mom started talking again, they and decided to get married and have a kid, we all moved to Vegas rather than him moving back to Puerto Rico. So I moved out here December 18th, 2010. So it's been about 7 years. It'll be 8 years in December. And honestly, moving to Vegas was very, very, very hard, especially because I had to leave all of my family. I had to leave all of my friends. I was forced to, I mean, not forced, but like it wasn't my choice. Like I wasn't asked like, hey, do you want to stay? Do you want to leave? Like, obviously when parents are leaving and you're a minor, you don't really get a choice, but that's just how I felt. Like I never got a choice. I never got asked what I wanted to do. So I was forced to move into a new country, a new city where I didn't even know the language. Like it was just, everything was new. Like we have no family here. Like, yeah, my stepdad's family, but like we have no family here. We had no friends. We didn't even really speak English. Like it was a huge like culture shock. And on top of that, we didn't really know my stepdad. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that my mom like met this guy and after months of talking to him we moved out here. Like, no, it had been like 2 or 3 years of them doing long distance, and we had met him before. When I say we, it's me and my brother. He's 2 years younger than me. We didn't really know my stepdad, so everything was like totally new. My stepdad and my dad are very different people. My dad is more outgoing and loud and just crazy, while my stepdad is a little bit more reserved. It's not that he's boring, but he's just very different. He's more reserved, he's more quiet. He's more of a serious character than my dad. Like my dad is a total goof. So that was very different, but because me and my brother were going through our own things, mom and our dad had just gotten divorced, so that was hard. And then having to move out here without being asked, like if we were just going through our own confusion and anger, and on top of that living with a new person, like it was just a hard time, period. But because of these hard times, a lot of family struggles and problems like were happening. I wouldn't talk to my dad like at all. Every time he would call me, he'd be like, yeah, I'm good. Okay. Or I just wouldn't talk to him at all. A lot of fights with my mom because my mom, me and my brother always like, we were disrespectful. Yeah, we probably still are, honestly, because yeah, whatever, we don't have to get into that, but we were disrespectful, and so sometimes she felt like she had to choose between me and my brother or my stepdad and their kid, like my other brother. So that started a lot of fights with my mom. And then 3, me and my brother did not get along with my stepdad. Like we just didn't. And my brother was more vocal about his like anger and hurt than I was, so he was always like hurting people. Like that's just how he was dealing with his hurt, and I dealt with my hurt by shutting down, like not showing emotions, like not loving on my family as much as I should, whatever. So this is going on from 2010, and then around like 2016, so 6 years later, I start going to this church called International Church of Las Vegas because my best friend now, Diamond, invited me. And I remember she invited me to the youth group, and it was like a leadership meeting, but I was there because she was my ride and she was in leadership. And the pastor's wife, Jessica Goulet, my girl, she started praying over me. And I had been to other churches before, but they weren't so like personal. Like she was just praying over me like one-on-one, and it was kind of weird. But anyways, this is the first day that I've met this woman, Jessica Goulet, and she starts praying for me. She starts saying, you and your family are going to be reunited. Like God is knitting you guys together. There's going to be a bond. There's going to be a connection like never before. And I was like, hold up, what? Like, what? What do you mean? Like, how do you know this about my family? Like, well, like, how do you even know that we need to connect? How do you even know that we need to bond? Like, how did she know what was going on? Like, this is what's going through my head. And obviously now I understand that it was God speaking through her and speaking things into existence in my life. But ever since that moment, I was attracted to something in this church, obviously that being the Holy Spirit. But the fact that like God met me in that moment was like literally changed like everything. So from that moment on of Jessica giving me my first word about my family, like domino effect, so many people that I had never even met would just tell me about my family. I remember one time this lady, Crystal McLaughlin, she prayed for me during a night service, and she was like, nah, I just see you. And this was like a year later. She was like, nah, I just see you knitting different colored like threads, and you're making this beautiful like quilt, I guess. I don't really know how to say that. Like a giant quilt. And she was describing that each and every thread were like all of my family members. And they were obviously all different colors because we're all different. But she went beyond my nuclear family, like my mom, my dad, my stepdad, my brother, my sister. It was like everyone. That's why the quilt was so big. So just stuff like that, like all the time. Like basically I would just get promises from the Lord like all the time, like your family is going to be reunited, your family is going to be connected. Like I am speaking it into existence, and I'm showing you what I'm going to do in your family's life. Like literally that's all I got for like the first year that I went into this new church. And so that was in 2016. Then in 2017, literally like in January, beginning of January, I was staying the night at my friend's house, Mathilde, she's French, but I was staying the night at my friend's house, and I received a text from my mom, and she was saying, pack your things, like we're moving back to Puerto Rico, like I don't even care anymore, I can't do this, like it's not working out. Obviously her marriage with my stepdad, and then us just living here in general, like it just wasn't the best. Like we would not bond as a family at all, and she was just tired of it. And I was like, hold up, no. Like obviously I didn't tell her this, but like in my head I was like, no, like I've gotten so many promises from God, and I know that they're from God because strangers have told me. Like how the heck do strangers know what I'm going through? Like they don't. It's God speaking to me. Like, you know, a lot of times when I try to wrap my head around the fact like maybe it wasn't God, but how the heck did those people know? How did Jessica Goulet know the moment she met me that my family needed connection? How did Krista McLaughlin know that I wanted to bring all of my family together? Like there was no way that they knew. It was God. So I knew that those things were real, and I knew that those things would come to pass. But if we gave up on it by going to Puerto Rico, like what God had spoken over my life and my family, like it wouldn't happen. So I was on a Saturday, that was January 7th, that my mom sent me that text while I was at my friend's house. And then January 8th, I went to church that Sunday, and I was just super bummed. Super bummed. And Jessica Goulet noticed, and she was like, nah, like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? You're not yourself today. So basically, I told her, like, my mom wants to move back, and I'm so confused because I've gotten so many words from God. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, as a child, like, how can I improve my family's chemistry? How can I improve what my mom and my stepdad have going on? Like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, Nat, have you ever thought about fasting? And fasting, based, like, at its truest form, fasting is not eating and dedicating your time that you're not eating to prayer. So that's what fasting is. But I was like, no, I've never thought about fasting. Like, what, I'm just not gonna eat and pray all day every day that my family will be a family? Like, no, like, I've never thought of it, and I probably won't do it, honestly. So that was during the morning service. And then during the night service, we were all, like, in the beginning of the service just worshiping, and I was, like, on my face, just crying out to God, like, God, you promised. Like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Like, what can I do? Like, that was the heart of my prayer. Like, what can I do? What can I do? Like, how can I make this better? I was just so focused on what I could do to make the situation better. And I remember just a whisper was, shave your head. And I was like, what? What? And at the time I had now I have hair because it's been a year since this happened, but I had huge curly hair that meant a lot to me. Like, my hair was my baby. But yeah, I just heard a whisper, like, shave your head, give me your hair. And I was like, God, this literally makes no sense because I am asking you to help me with my family, and you tell me to shave my head. Okay, cool, thanks, Dad. Like, makes sense. I was very confused, but even through, like, so I just I didn't ignore it, but, like, I was just like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'll shave my head. And that was in the beginning of the service. And then at the end of the service, I was like, you know what? I really should. And I had no idea why. Like, I was telling my pastors and my friends, and they were like, well, what fruit would you get from shaving your head in this situation? Like, how would your family get better by you shaving your head? It's like, I don't freaking know. But what I know is that God asked me to do it, so I'm gonna do it, even if I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why he's asking me to do this, but I'm going to anyway. So that was on a Sunday, January 8th, and then Monday, January 9th, my friends Ashley and Devin picked me up from my house and shaved my head.
Okay, ready? Go.
That's like how people define
Whenever
it.
I tell people, it's like, oh no, but your hair is you. Like,
Wait, we got another one.
oh God.
Oh yeah.
Don't cry, please.
It'll grow back.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
gonna grow back.
Actually, you're kind of cutting it close.
She's gonna buzz it anyway.
No. Yeah. Do that.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, you got a really long one on there too, so it's not gonna. You see what I'm saying? Just you don't push hard.
Now Dad's doing a 2 on her. How's it feel now?
Good. I guess. I can't see what I look like right now.
How do you feel now?
I feel good. I feel like Britney Spears. I mean, we went to Ashley's house, and like her parents were asking me like, why are you shaving your head? And I wouldn't really tell people like why I shaved my head. I don't really remember, but I just remember saying like, oh, for my family. Like, I honestly don't even remember. Like, I just knew that I wanted my family to get better. I wanted to be a better family member. And when I was asking God what I should do, he told me to shave my head. So I did. And then I shared my story, this story, at church, and like people started shaving their heads too to show support, which was amazing. I also inspired a few other people to shave their heads. My best friend Diamond shaved her head too. My friend Kia shaved their head, and this girl Olivia from California shaved her head too, all for different reasons, but it was just like inspiring, like, oh, you're like, I don't know. I honestly, like, it's funny because at the time I had no idea what I was doing. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because a year later, I understand why God asked me to shave my head. And that's the funny thing about God. Like, in the moment, he'll ask you to do something and you might not understand, but showing obedience, like, is so worth the reward. Like, it took me about a year to realize, like, why I had to shave my head, and this is the reason why. And it's funny because I had this, like, epiphany, like, literally on the 1-year anniversary. And so the reason why God had asked me to shave my head is because I had embedded so much of my identity into my hair that I defined myself by my hair. Like, people even knew me, like Natalia with the curly hair. Like, my hair was who I was. Like, it's what I thought to be the most beautiful part about me. So completely laying that down was like totally ripping myself from who I was, and that's exactly what God wanted. He wanted me to lay my identity down and stop focusing so much on what can I do to make my family better, but instead put my identity in him and say, God, what will you do? What have you already said you would do? And that has literally, like, rocked my world. Like, just that sign that God asking me to surrender, and God asking me to surrender in such a powerful way. Like, I literally had to let go of a tangible thing that I put my identity on. And a lot of times when we're walking with Jesus, we say that, you know, I'm putting my identity on Jesus. My identity's on Jesus. The foundation of my life is Jesus. But when it really comes down to it, when it really comes down to God asking you, okay, lay this down, and you can't, is your identity really on Jesus? Are you really, like, you know? And that's what it was for me. I thought my identity was on Jesus. I had been going to church for a year. Like, I was set. Like, I was extremely Christ-like, I thought. And then God was like, okay, but give me your hair, the most important thing to you. Oh, yeah, that doesn't really relate to my family, so, but I did it anyways. And then a year later, I realized, okay, God was not literally asking me for my hair to make my family better, but he was teaching me a lesson. He was showing me that it's not about me, and it's not about what I can do. It's not about what I can do to make my family better, but instead it's about the posture of my heart and how I surrender my family to him. It's about the posture of my heart and how I surrender myself to him. And that's simply by living for him and placing my identity in him. And for me, it was really cool because I shaved my head and I literally, like, gave it to him, like, okay, you told me to shave my head, here's my identity. But for some other people, it's not that easy to just give God what you place your identity on. But, you know, I have truly seen so much of a difference in my family since I shaved my head. Like, we are definitely not perfect. We definitely still fight. Actually, we don't really fight. It's more like arguments, but which is totally normal, you know? But I've seen a huge difference in my brother, the one I was speaking of in the beginning of the video, the one that was full of anger and hurt. He has totally given his life to Jesus. He is growing as a young man of God. I actually got to baptize him, like, last summer, so that's been amazing. My relationship with my dad is honestly so good. Like, I truly consider him like a friend. Like, I know that parents are not necessarily, like, seen as friends, but I see my dad as a friend, which is totally awesome considering the fact that at one point I didn't even want to have anything to do with him. My relationship with my mom and my stepdad is still a bit iffy, and I think that that's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of conversations that should be had. I just haven't grown the balls. I just haven't grown the balls to initiate those conversations. But Mommy, Guillermo, if you're watching this video, come talk to me because I love you guys. But yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of growth in the past year since I decided to shave my head. And the reason this video is actually like super vulnerable, and I'm totally putting myself out there in a way that I haven't even put myself out there to my own family. And the reason why I'm doing that, it's because I want to encourage you guys. Like, I know families are so hard to deal with. Families are probably the most annoying people that we will encounter, yet they're the most important. You know, I believe that the way that God developed and cultivated our family systems are very important, and they should be healthy, and they should be used to worship him. Like, those relationships that you have with your mom or your dad or your siblings, like, they should glorify God. And so I just wanted to make this video to encourage you guys. Like, I'm here for you if you ever need someone to talk to about family problems. Like, I'm totally here. If you felt like you've needed to give something up to God but don't know how, like, hit me up. Like, seriously, I'm here for you as well. What else? Just anything that anyone needs. Like, I'm here. I've been through a lot with Jesus, even though I've technically been walking with him for like 2 or 3 years, but this is what I'm here for. I'm here to love on you guys, to build relationship with you guys, and to share my stories to encourage you guys and to give you guys that little push that you might need to improving yourselves. So I really hope you guys like this video. Please, I usually don't say this in my other videos, but please, like and share this video. I feel like I don't have a huge subscriber number, and a lot of people don't really watch my videos, but I think this video is really important. So if you guys think of someone while you're watching this video, send it to them, share it, and please let's change the world together. You know what I mean? And I know that's such a huge statement, but by sharing, and not just my video, just any inspirational or encouraging video, just send it to people. Because the fact that my best friend Diamond went out of her way to pick me up that one day and take me to church, it changed my life. So maybe you could change someone's life by sending this video to someone. I don't know, I'm getting all pastoral now. But I really hope you guys like this video. Subscribe, all that jazz. Share this video, please share it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.